This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Curt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
Well, we went from a shotgun blast to an ice fishing hook set.
Hey, it's time. You know, for some, I don't know. We've got this nice weather that we've had, and I don't. You know, I'm really learning the Missouri River up here at Mobridge. Things are iced over, right? It's locked up. Down at Whitlock last weekend, wide open. Matter of fact, someone put a boat in at Bob's. So, Tom. Yeah, so the crazy thing here, even with 50-degree weather, we're getting water on top of the ice, but we still have ice. And there were people out ice fishing yesterday. Why, thank you, Chad. Yeah. Yeah, you should have heard the GT roast. Or no, the what was it? What Chat GPT, yeah, Chat GPT roast about me and my awesome hoodie. It wasn't making fun of the cold snap hoodie. It was making fun of me and how I'm dressing. Ashley, how you doing? Yeah, but what a really weird river. I mean, it's just flat calm out here, and we had whitecaps at Whitlock last weekend. So I'm learning tons about it, and I going to be fishing. Matter of fact, I didn't bring my fishing gear because I didn't think we'd be fishing until later. Now I'm a little bit bummed out, but when I go home for Christmas, I'll bring it back and I'll be on the river doing the thing.
Yeah, it's 100%. Like you said, you can be 20. We were talking about it the other day, 20 miles down the river, you're ice fishing, or for your case, 20 miles upriver, you're ice fishing. They're boat fishing just on the southern end of it. So obviously, Lake Oahe down where I'm at, the bays aren't even froze up. You know,
isn't that something? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Now, this is a map of the wind we're getting right now. You could see all of the pinks and the reds, and here's where the three of us are at in South Dakota tonight. And with that, we've got a guest. We're going to talk ice fishing, and we're going to get into cold snapping. There we go. I got to get that right. Oh, I got to get Doug out. There we go. All right, Doug, how you doing? Or Dan, I'm sorry, Dan, how you doing?
It's Dan. I actually just got a whole bunch of couple new jerseys made, and they did the same thing. It says Doug Hogue on it.
Oh no! Oh, you know, well, you see that OUG, and right there, it's Doug right there, and I think I've made
my whole life, and for the most part, I don't even bother correcting people anymore. I just go with it. I figured that way, if I did something embarrassing, it'll be Doug who did.
Okay. Yeah. See, I did get that right there. Thank goodness. I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't type Doug. I typed Dan. So thank goodness.
It's all cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining us. Curt got a hold of you this afternoon, and you've got time to hang. It's okay.
There's a lot of Doug comments coming in now.
Well, I see the peanut gallery is checked in. We've got Cummings, Seaberg. So there's going to be all kinds of snide comments from the back row, but that's all right. It'll make it more interesting.
That's what we're looking forward to tonight.
Well, Dan, before we get too far into it, let's get a little bit about you, your background, and how you got into this industry.
Well, I grew up southern Minnesota, fishing the river when I was a kid for carp and bullheads, anything that would bite, and then ice fished a little bit, like in the early 90s when I went to college, and then was at the bait shop and saw an advertisement for a fishing seminar at the old Northview Bait and Tackle in Sioux Falls. You guys remember when it was on the west side on Old 16?
Yeah.
I don't know.
38, West 38. Yeah, well, it was a long time ago. And we showed up and they were selling 50-cent beers, and this guy had a rotary thing of slides that would show all his fishing pictures, and he'd be able to talk about all the ice fishing products that were new. And that guy was Dave Gens.
No kidding.
Yeah, I've been hooked ever since. So that was probably, it must have been 95, 96, somewhere in there. So then after that, I had to get a gas auger and electronics and the flip over fish house and all that stuff. And one day my cousin and I were out on the road to go fishing, probably at Webster, and said, well, it'd be nice if we could just fish for a living like Dave and not have to go into work, and we could just fish all the time. And I said, yeah, that'd be cool. And he goes, oh, I was thinking about this cover that you make for your auger that would just snap on and you wouldn't have to put that cord over it. And I go, hey, that's a cool idea. And then next few weeks we worked on it, and over a year or so we ended up getting some prototypes, and after a while we just kept progressing and we got a patent. And yeah, so that was 23 years ago now.
Wow. So it started with that, and then it ends up in this position, which this stuff's great. I mean, the stuff that you guys have is amazing, and it's built different than the others, right?
Yeah, it's top of the line. So what we did, instead of Cold Snap having to figure out the clothing business, we partnered with a good friend of mine, Eric Larsgaard. He actually is a designer and an owner of a major waterfall label. So he's already done all this stuff, making sure clothing is durable, waterproof, warm. He knows the factories, the processes, the materials. And what we did is, a group of us, ice anglers and summertime anglers, just put our heads together and said, if you were going to start a restaurant and you would go around to all the other restaurants and take your favorite things off the menu and bring them into one place. And that's what we did here with this fishing suit. And, then we said, well, why don't we make it so it's 4 seasons so that you don't just have to wear ice fishing. Because you've all seen the guys in the summer that wear their ice fishing suits, and you're like, oh, that's fine, but they're not waterproof. They might be warm enough, but they're not waterproof. Well, the Cold Snap CS1 suit is called CS1 because it's one suit for all 4 seasons. That outer shell is event laminated and fully waterproof, and so is the bibs. And then the liner that zips out has got top of the line Primaloft gold insulation. So what that means is that you only need a thin layer to provide all that warmth. So you're not going to have this big bulky jacket. And then there's proprietary float technology that we have in there called HydroFloat. So if you did fall through the ice or overboard in a boat when you're wearing it, it's going to help keep you up. So that's the cool thing about it. We picked the brains of all my fishing buddies, and we put all the best features into it. And then when we were designing it with Eric, I said, I don't want anything in here that's not the best that there is. So from the zippers, the outer shell is nylon, which is the best. Like expensive ski jackets are nylon. Just everything. We didn't want to make any type of apologies for any piece of that thing. Each one was the highest and best performing part that we could get.
So let's talk about the glove real quick here, because I know there is a brand of glove out there that I have purchased 3 or 4 times, and they keep breaking apart, splitting at the seams, and I just can't go back to them. So do you have the same technology from the suit and the glove?
That's correct. It's got Primaloft insulation in the glove. There's no float in it, but I mean, if your glove falls off your hand in the water, it's going to float anyhow. The palms are all leather, so that's a leather palm, and it's all waterproof. So you can stick your hand in the water, and it's gonna keep the water out.
Yeah. So if you go to a show, you'll see Chad in a vest, and these things are kind of amazing in themselves. How are they built?
Well, the vest was so amazing that it sold out. So yeah, so there is like this many of those left. And Chad told me today, he goes, well, if you're on the podcast, don't wear the vest because we don't have any to sell. But so that's interesting that you brought it up. But no, that's been like the best thing, and people just absolutely love it. And I think Curt was wearing the soft shell jacket last summer at Pier in the middle of that downpour.
Yeah.
And, we call that water resistant. So it's got the event technology in it, but the seams can't be taped because of the way that it works. But so it's mostly waterproof, and I think you said that it kept you pretty much dry, except for a tiny little bit after being out in the rain for quite a while, right?
Oh, so I was watching the National Wide Trail weigh-ins right before the Sharp Showdown, and that one day it was raining. I think you were here, Chasen.
Mm-hmm.
It was raining, and I'm standing out there, and I mean everybody's soaked, and I got my soft shell on. And I'm, hour, 2 hours watching weigh-ins, and right towards the end, I'm like, oh, my shoulders are wet. Like I could feel that wetness on my shoulders and basically where the seam was. And I'm like, I'm going to get back to my truck. Then I'm going to take my jacket off. My shoulders are going to be wet. I got back to my truck, took my jacket off. My shoulders were dry. I could just feel that moisture after a couple hours seeping into that seam. My shoulders never got wet. But I could feel, I thought I was wet, and it was never wet.
And the important thing to note there was that's the soft shell jacket, not the actual CS1 jacket. The seams on that are all taped, and it's 100% waterproof. But the one that we don't say is waterproof is mostly waterproof.
Yeah.
And like I said, you were out in this rain for a couple hours, and it wasn't just a sprinkle.
Yeah, I mean, my pants
it was rain. Yeah,
were wet.
Yeah, we had several of our guys like Max and Brian Bashore and Joe Bricko all wearing the suit in that big, heavy downpour that day. And all three of them are like, oh, it's nice and warm. I didn't get wet. This was perfect. So,
yeah,
we're getting some serious real-world testing done over the last, 2 or 3 seasons on the water and on the ice as well.
Well, I'm just thinking about this vest actually looks like a fashion statement in the fishing or outdoor world there. It's got a hood that it's got a hood kind of like I've got here. What is this called again? I can't remember.
Well, that's actually just we had promotional stuff we had made for all the famous people like podcasters.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
And some of our fishing pros. So we hope to have that as a summer product for next season.
I love it.
We've had a lot of interest in that for sure.
Yeah, because
we brought in a box of them, but yeah.
I mean, this thing does, it does everything that you want it to do, right? I mean, and then you've got that, and I wore it this summer when it got too hot because the thing, it just did a great job of breathing and keeping me cool. I was pretty.
Yeah, gray color is good because it doesn't soak up the heat too bad in the sun.
Yeah, that's true. I know the girls don't like it when I wear gray, but I do. I love gray. Well, look at my background. Although I didn't make the background, it just happened to be gray when I got here. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm wondering if Kurt's in the tournament weigh-in trailer the way it looks.
I'm 100%. This is a podcast studio.
Is the wind waving it or?
It just like a couple minutes ago, it started shaking me for the first time. So yeah, I've been rocking, lullabying in here a little bit, but no, when I met you last fall or last winter, we started talking. And I said, man, I've been literally looking at suits, turn down other companies because I haven't found the suit that fits us. And I'm not saying the suit that fits us is going to be for everybody, but I will tell you the CS1 suit to me does it all. And that was my big thing was like, I don't need rain gear all the time, and I don't need ice fishing gear all the time. It sucks to spend $700-800 on a set of ice gear, and I've been through every brand of rain gear, and I'm always wet. And I tried yours on. I was indoors, granted, in February, and you put them bibs on me, and you went to put the coat on, and I said, "Get this shit off of me. I'm burning up. This is not good." It's good.
The important thing about that is you want it to be that warm because you can always peel off layers, and that's what it's designed for, is a layering effect. So if you want to go, sub-zero, 25, 30 below, you wear the liner and you wear a hoodie or some kind of a moisture wicking undergarments, and you're good to go. Like I've been out in as cold as 28 below, and I was perfectly warm. The bibs are cozy warm. The coat, the same thing. And I'll just typically only wear underneath that jacket with a liner and a long sleeve t-shirt until it gets, below single digits.
Yeah.
But it gets to be, a hooded sweatshirt like I'm wearing now. I'll wear that when it gets below 10 degrees. But other than that, I'll wear a T-shirt underneath. And I know Tom Seberg, he usually wore gym shorts when he had the bibs on, and then he'd wear that all winter guiding. So yeah, so they're very warm, and the knee pads are awesome too. There's an 8mm neoprene knee pad in there, and that knee is already kind of pre-articulated. If you look at that picture of the bib that you guys were putting up, you'll notice it's already kind of pre-cupped. And there's some neat details on that arm too. They're already pre-articulated as well, so you can cast without your coat rising up over your waist. So there's a ton of technology. I basically call it the Swiss Army knife of fishing suits.
Oh, 100%. Like I've had people try mine on, and going back to the warm before I get into that comment is like the first time my buddies bought them and I didn't have my suits yet, and we went ice fishing. I sent you a picture and you said, how does he like the suit? And he said, he can't go inside anywhere because it's too damn hot. And you're like, yeah, it's 10 degrees outside and he's got a hoodie under it. Don't do that. Don't do that, because like it's going to be way too warm. Wear a t-shirt. And the next time he went out, he wore a tank top.
Yeah.
Just a side note here. It looks like we have an issue with Chasen Walters
with my Facebook page.
So if it's buffering or something on there, you can hop on the Fishing Crew Facebook page or into the Outdoors YouTube or the Fishing Crew YouTube. So if you're getting some buffering, that's probably why. I don't know. That's the first time we've ever seen that.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I seriously just think it's that Worthington Telecom Wi-Fi that's running at about half a gigabyte or something.
That could be, although it says here that it's something to do with Facebook, maybe. So I guess we'll wait to see what happens.
It's nice and clear, no glitches, nothing.
Tom,
okay, yeah, that's everything is good and clear for me here too.
Tom had a couple comments here. Just remember what pocket you put your bait puck in. It's full of pockets.
Yeah, there are magnet closures on a lot of the pockets that we have, which, is important if you have gloves on. A lot of people wear those wool ones, and you're trying to go in a pocket that has a bunch of Velcro, catches or scratches your hand. And these magnet pockets are really trick and very nice. And another big thing is those side belting on those Curt.
Yeah, Curt loved those.
Because, if you try to bend over to get something, you got one of those big plastic buckles that gets you right in the belly. That's no good.
Right.
And those side belts are actually elastic. So if you do bend over and it tightens up, they'll give a little bit, which is nice. Yeah. And then, a huge thing is the straps over the top. Those are the most substantial by far in any apparel you're going to find in the outdoor industry, other than it's basically a wader strap. So if you've ever had a high-end pair of waders, that really substantial, no memory elastic strap on a wader, that's what these are. So they're very good. And then the back is all stitched smooth. There's not those stupid plastic triangle-shaped things that weave through there and then twist up, and then you can feel it when you sit down. So this is all stitched nice and flat on the back. And yeah, we went through every little thing that we could to try to get the bugs out. We prototyped it 2 full seasons before we went to market with it.
Well, and the other thing that just so what you would think would be overlooked so much is the back of it, right? Where the boot you notch it up so it doesn't, even if they're a little long, they don't drag. And then you have pull straps in the back if they are long, so you're not going to tear up the back of your bibs.
Yep.
And
unlike other bibs on the market where they only sell one length, we sell it in 3 different lengths. We sell it a long or a tall, a regular, and a short. So a guy like me who's got a 30-inch inseam, I wear a short bib, and it's perfect length for me. Somebody who has a 34-inch inseam would wear a regular bib, and it's perfect length for them. But let's say you were, 33 or something, and you wanted it up a little bit. Well, there's a little drawstring in the back, like shot cord, like Curt was saying, where you could just tweak it up just a little. And then in the back, there's a heel cutout, like Curt said, so that, a lot of times people step off the back of their bibs and then they're dragging the threads. And then when you're ice fishing, it collects all these ice dingle balls.
Yep.
Yeah. And we use like a high abrasion resistant material on the bottom and on the knees. so that you have very, very little of that, even after a lot of years of use.
So one thing Tom taught me, he made a comment earlier, I kind of popped it up and breezed over, go back to it, is he wears the liners and puts the outer shell over it. And that's when I first got it. We got it in the spring, and he's like, take the liners out, zip them together. And so that's how mine's set up. I have literally have the liners and I have the over bibs. You can have them all hooked together, but it's so nice to be able to strip down layers a lot easier than sitting there unzipping them. It is. And them inner liners wear like a pair of jeans.
Yeah, they're super soft, comfortable. I mean, it would be like, just a nice pair of lounge pants in your permanent fish house, too, while you're sitting around in there. Then slide over the outer shell bibs if you want to. You go out and check tip-ups, things like that. So, just great way to layer and do different things. But the most important thing is if you were ever out in 30 degrees below zero, you don't want to freeze to death.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be warm enough to keep you toasty warm, even though it's that cold. And then you can be out in 30 plus. You just start layering out, taking some of the layers off. If it's 30 above, you wear a hoodie and just the shell. If it's raining or if it's windy, that'll block all the wind. It'll block all the rain. And a big one would be Lake Erie. Let's say you're going to Erie in April or May. And what do people normally do? They bring with their ice fishing gear for when it's cold out and windy, and it always is. And then you have a rain suit you're going to wear in case it rains or you get all the spray from the going out across the waves. This is one thing. You just take one suit with, and you can just pull off the layers as the sun warms up and in the middle of the day, and you just wear the shell to keep the wind and the spray off you. And so it's a perfect system, and it comes with stuff sacks to keep all your stuff in too, like your liners when you're not wearing them. Put them in the hole of your boat.
You thought that through.
So Chad just said, the liners are logoed and they have their own pockets even.
Yeah, and the liner that's in the coat is the same thing. You can wear that as a complete separate coat, and it's 100% has as many or more pockets in your average coat that you would wear as like a puffer jacket.
So you can literally go ice fishing in your loungy clothes then, long sleeve.
Yeah, and after you wear the bibs 2 or 3 outings, they feel like an old broken pair of jeans. They're just nice and comfortable and soft. And really nice stuff. And
like even in the bibs, the outer shell has a knee pad in them. Where you said I don't know why you would. I don't do it, but you can take them out if you don't want that in your rain gear. But
that's correct. Yeah. So in the summer, if you're in the boat and you don't think you want the knee pads in, there's a pocket back there with a little piece of Velcro. You open it and you can pull them out. But even better, let's say you own the set for 5 years and you use them a lot and the neoprene starts getting so it's not as springy, you could always replace that with a brand new piece of neoprene and have, or put in another piece. So you got, instead of 8 millimeters, you got 16 millimeters.
Right.
Yeah. So you can customize it if you like.
So when we're interested in buying this, you're not in any retail stores. We find you at the shows, right? But
you can buy them at the shows, which are done for the year. But I have a full try-on set here, just north of Sioux Falls. So if anybody's in the area would like to reach out, I can do a personal meeting, stop by my shop for a try-on. We're very close to some deals with some retailers, so I'm not ready to say anything yet, but that's definitely something that I'm about 100% positive we'll have here soon that I'm not quite ready to announce yet, but keep watching. It's a retailer you guys have all heard of, so that's exciting stuff. We're all direct to consumer, and there's good size charts on our website. Plus, I go the extra step that if you order a suit, Curt, on our website, when I see the order come through, before we ship it, I make a personal call to each person, just verify the sizing. Because what we found in the outdoor industry, I mean, you've all had it, extra large sweatshirt from Carhartt that fits great, but the same extra large sweatshirt from some other supplier is too small. Yeah. So, the sizing varies so much that, and between Chad and I, Chad Cummings, he's like the master sizing up person. He does it at all the shows. He's so good at it. Between him, I'll pitch him like, okay, this guy's this waist, this height, this size and shape, and then we get it right. And typically we don't have any, where we need to swap out a different size. So I take the extra step to call them and just verify all the fit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
It's the extra steps like that you get from, Cold Snap with a, this high-end 4-season suit that you're not going to get from the other retailers. And you can mix and match the bib size and the coat size. So you might be a 2X coat and a XL short bib, and that fits you perfect, just like it was made for you. Far as I know, most of the other retailers, you got to take an XL jacket. And so if you need a 2X coat, you're going to end up wearing 2X bibs and a 2X coat. And then you're going to be tripping on the bibs and your crotch is going to be hanging way down. And then the other thing is the knee pads are set for a certain length. So if you're a short guy wearing long bibs, the knee pad's going to be in the wrong spot when you go to kneel down. So when we get the length right, the knee pads are correct where they should be.
Well, that's 100%. I've got other hunting clothes that got a pair of pants. I have that knee pads go in them for, stocking, and I had to tailor them off, get them shortened for my 30-inch inseam, and now I can't put the knee pads back in them because they're nowhere near where they need to be.
They're down on your shins.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we have, I fit somebody that was 6'6", 300 pounds, and I fit guys, Asian Hmong guys that are, 4'10" and 100 pounds. So that's the neat thing about having custom fit like that is you can fit just about any body size or shape out there.
Yeah, and if anybody wants more information, make sure you check out Cold Snap Outdoors. You can check out their website. And like I said, Dan's going to make a personal call to you before you get a suit, to make sure he gets it right. Because at the end of the day, that's just costing you time and money if they have to ship it back, and you know what I mean? So that's a great thing to do for everybody, is know a company that wants to stand behind you, and you talk to one of the owners of it, and you know that you're getting a personal touch. And they care what you're ordering.
100%. Yep.
So I'm guessing that that these suits are kind of a last you forever type of thing, right?
Well, we, one of the testing grounds and proving grounds is guides like Tom. Tom wears it out in the ice when he's out for the last 2 seasons, I believe, and he brought him into the show and he says, "Look at these bibs; they're still plenty usable. They show very little wear and pilling on the knees where you're down on the ice, and the ice is always rough, and there's times you kneel down in something and you feel it go right into your kneecap and it just about drops you. But with these 8mm knee pads, you have way less of that. But yeah, Tom makes a good point. The flotation liner and the bibs, you can wear those inside of your waders.
Sure.
So heaven forbid you step in a muskrat hole and you go under. Those flotation liners from the bibs will float you up in your waders, and
you're going to be really warm.
Yeah, well, it's important. I mean, how often it doesn't even take that cold of water to you're in waders and you're freezing to death.
Yeah,
and that's true.
Cold just shoots right through and goes right to your bones.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys. It's kind of like all your products. It's well thought out, like your auger cover. And then the one thing we don't want to forget about is probably the most recommendable nice thing for you is the T2 toothpick.
Yeah, the hook remover is it's went crazy this season. I can't believe how many of those we're selling online. It's been nuts between the retailers ordering and online orders. It's been crazy this year. But it's good. We're on track for just a great season. All the retailers in St. Paul that I talked to said it was like the old days, 10 years ago when you would have huge crowds in St. Paul and it would be like, that would be the day of the year, Saturday in St. Paul, that would make the whole company season. And it was like that again. It was good to see.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because, the talk has been for the last couple of years that the shows have been kind of dying and they just haven't had the traction. And, I talked to our buddy Billy Billy Katz with Katz covers, and he's like, it was insane. He goes, the first time in probably 10 years, I had to go home and make covers Friday night and Saturday night because I was out of covers.
Yeah,
see, that's why I didn't go.
Heard that from a lot of retailers, and a part of the reason that the shows are dying off is that 15 years ago, if you wanted to see the newest and best in the ice fishing industry, you either had to know people at each one of those companies, or you went to the show just to see all the retailers and what they were showing. But now, with all the launches on social media and everything, if you pay attention, you've seen everything already.
Right? Yeah.
There's little retailers who don't have a very good presence online that you may not be familiar with. You'll find those things. And, one that I would point out would be this company called Bobber Buddy. They had some really cool technology to, spin your live scope pole that they were making, 3D printed things that were really cool. So I would check that out. But I don't remember seeing it on social media. So they had some neat stuff. And then it's always the smaller retailers that have the cool stuff too, like very small micro ice plastics that you really, you get to see them all. Problem with ordering like microplastics online is you'll tell you how long it is, but you can't really get a feel for it to see if it would move right in the water. So all that stuff in person makes way more sense. But and part of the show thing is that if you have to spend $30 to park and $20 to get in, you're already up, and the gas to get there, you're already upside down $60 or more before you even get in the door. So people are saying, why would I pay to shop? Well, the main reason is that at the shows, if you're there to buy stuff, there's deals there that you're not going to see online. And you can always, with the retailers there, a lot of people are there to deal. They'll say, if we buy 3 of them, what's the cost? So all the people there will wheel and deal with you on it pretty much. So that's kind of fun to see. And
it's good to hear that the shows were picking up, because that's part of the reason I didn't go. I'm like, they haven't really been that impressive, and I've added 200 miles to my trip to everything, and I'm out. So it kind of bums me out. But I'm happy.
So I see what you're saying, and but if you're in the market for different things and you need to buy some stuff, I think it makes sense to go to the show still, because there's deals there you won't see anywhere else.
True.
And you can deal face to face with the owners. You can deal face to face with the companies, that's still important. And then, like I was just sitting here, I see my line. I bet you guys haven't used this type of line before.
The Frost?
Not the 1 pound. No.
1 pound.
Yeah, no, not 1 pound. That scares the crap out of me.
I'm going to Okoboji Friday. My daughter's playing hooky from school, and we're going to go sight fish down in Okoboji for bluegill.
Oh, you see, but you're okay. I get the 1 pound line now, because you're tying those itty bitty little 1 millimeter things. You can't even see the eyelet and the hook on those.
The real small ones don't even have eyelets. They have a hole through the actual blob of metal that is the weight, whether it's lead or tungsten. And there's a special loop knot you have to use to get it to sit horizontal. But I don't get quite that small. I think I'm down to like 2 or 3 millimeters, the smallest jigs that I use.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here with one of our cold snap rods too. So
yeah, I can't forget about you got a whole line of ice rods. I mean, you guys got a little bit of everything going on. So talk about your Red Line series rods.
Yeah. So what's cool about these is that we call them factory custom rods because they're a custom design rod by our in-house rodsmith, Jim Gerard in Brookings. And he's won several national awards for his rod designs. They used to have a build-off at the St. Paul Ice Show 2 years, and it was about 12 years ago, maybe a little longer. But his rods that he built won Best of Show both years. And the blank that won the Best of Show was this King Perch blank that we now have. He doesn't build ice rods anymore, few for friends, but he designs for us. So, yeah, so all our designs are built and ahead of time, and we fish them for a year. And then we send the rod overseas and have it cloned, and then we import them all to our specs. So none of it's off the shelf. It's all custom designed, but just built overseas, which I think makes sense. All the components on this rod are all built in the same country. The difference is where it's assembled. You could say that the craftsmanship of the United States is better, and I won't argue that. I think that's probably the case. But when you look at the average factory-produced rod, coming from a quality manufacturer, they're still very, very good. And you can look through it and always weed out the ones that don't meet standards. But for the most part, I'm looking at this one. It's splined correctly. It's got the eyelets all straight. And we do the things that the custom rod builders do. We just have it assembled overseas.
Yeah,
I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, and what you're looking for in an ice rod is the same type of thing you're looking for in a long rod for summer. It's got to have the rod action's got to work for the weight of the line and the size of the lure and all that has to match.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to fish with one of those yet, but building them. If you build them, you control the specs. You tell them what to build. They can wrap so many more rods than your rod builder sitting in his house wrapping rods or in his shop. It's so much easier to send them over there and get them done. And now you're bringing the price point down on a very good rod, right?
Exactly.
It's just different than you sitting in your house wrapping that rod. But your cost and all those parts is way higher because they're buying them in tubs where you're buying 100 of them.
Yeah, and the guys who build rods in the States, those components have went through, a wholesaler, a distributor, and then they bought them retail to resell. So there's a whole bunch of extra steps where people have taken a cut off those components. And so we're able to bring in a, really high quality rod that's built to our specs with like custom type features like an EVA foam handle with the rubberized grip, sort of like a golf club grip, but this is very light. And carbon fiber blanks, all the stuff that you would want in a high-end rod for a price point that's super awesome. I mean, we're at $80 with a reel during our Christmas sale.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what do you have for a reel on there?
I ended up getting some middle-of-the-road ice reels on a closeout deal. So there's some HT AccuCast, which typically I wouldn't be a huge proponent of HT reels. I never really thought they were super great quality. These were really pretty decent. Like I wouldn't call them high end, but they're at least middle of the road, decent drag, instant anti-reverse. And they have like this AccuCast system where actually the spool and the reel is canted up forward towards the first eyelet.
Oh.
One of the things you'll notice on ice rods, if your reel comes off horizontal to the rod handle, is when you start reeling, you'll get like a slap in the line where it just kind of jumps.
Yeah.
But there's less of that when the reel angles towards that first eyelet.
Sure.
A few years ago, Andy Strom's, this another rod builder. We had him cut a groove into the rod so that the reel foot would sit at an angle to do that. And that was really, groundbreaking stuff there. Now they just build the reel so it does that.
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess. Both ideas make sense.
Yeah. Well, and I started looking for, this is a weird thing. The cost of reels went through the roof. I tried to buy some wholesale from our normal source, and just for a Fluger try-on, they were like $35 wholesale.
Wow.
So it's nuts what they want for reels. And, mom and pop bait shops are paying that if they need them. So nuts.
You guys also dabble in snow plows. What else what else are you dabbling in with cold?
Well, we do have some soft plastics that one of our pro staffers designed that, oddly enough, it's listed as one of the top 10 best ice fishing lures of all times in Field and Stream magazine. It's called the Craigie. It's a 4-inch long soft plastic bait. So it's bigger than your traditional ice fishing lure, but that thing is lake trout and trout candy. They cannot resist that thing. And it was designed by our pro staffer, Craig Euler, out in Rapid City. And it looks like a gigantic mysis shrimp that the lake trout eat out in Pactola. But it's made its way around the upper Midwest, Canada, and Alaska. And that thing, once you put that in front of the right fish, I've had guys catch walleyes on it and outfish their buddies on it out in the river too. So that's the cool thing is that, here's somebody I know that designed a bait that actually works. You always think, oh, I could do that, but make, and have it actually work. That's really super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I wondered if Craig didn't design it when you said the Craigie. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, he named the guy who pours the baits named it that because Craig came to him with the design, and then they worked on prototypes and come out with it. And one of the things I told our pro staffers is if you ever come to me with an idea and it works out and we start selling it, I'll name it after you.
Sure.
So the toothpick is called the T2 toothpick. And the T2 is a nickname for one of our pro staffers, Todd. So that's where the T2 comes from.
So the T2 came from Todd.
Yep. And I talked to Todd before this, probably a half hour ago, and he's hanging out with Dave Gens right now, and they're fishing. And he said there's 12. He said to report that there was 14 to 18 inches ice on Upper Red.
Wow.
They were catching walleyes pretty much all day up to 19 and a half inches. Full-size trucks are driving out, but not diesels yet.
Okay.
So, and there's little to no snow.
That's ice.
Yeah, didn't Webster?
And when Upper Reds froze, that's like Minnesota's playground for ice fishing.
Right.
There's got to be 20,000 people up there by next weekend if the weather's decent.
And I think Webster had 8 to 10 inches.
Yeah, I had friends that were there last Friday in that horrific windstorm, and they claimed they saw anywhere from 8 to 12 inches ice, and they were running around the snow bear, no problem.
Wow.
Teasling commented in here that where's it at? They'll put hard checks tomorrow in the Webster area.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
this weather warmed up a little bit, but it's only a little bit warm during the day for 3-4 hours. It doesn't really melt much. And then Webster had a bunch of snow, but then they got rain that killed off that snow, and then it got super cold again. So I think we're sitting good. A nice base, not a bunch of snow to insulate the ice. We're setting up for a good, healthy amount of ice and hopefully real safe conditions. Todd also reports on Upper Red there wasn't that much for pressure ridges or anything.
Oh, wow.
That's good to know.
Michelle the Meininger says pouring rain in
Bismarck.
Pouring rain in Pierre, South Dakota, and the wind's blowing too. So we must be in a band of that kind of weather. But I mean, it's still December, right? I mean, anymore, we're lucky it's not 70 degrees right now.
It was like 40. I think it was 49 briefly here yesterday.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, it's going to be cold tonight. I think single digits for us in Mobridge. So,
Todd had me on speakerphone, and I asked Dave for any words of wisdom for the podcast, and he says, ice fishing, you should be looking for the green weeds, not the brown ones. And then he also says fish with your daughters. So that's what I'm doing Friday, and that's what he's doing this week.
There we go. So
from Dave,
1 inch of ice in Omaha. Nobody ice fishing in Omaha right now.
I mean, Tom, that's probably the best you're going to see all year in Omaha. Right. Come on. You guys don't get enough to even hardly walk on down there. But that's why you spend your time in Webster coming up. So, I mean, you got these suits are great. I mean, everything you have is, like I said, you think through things. The T2 toothpick, which, I mean, everybody probably knows that for cold snap, but what do you got coming up that people can see you at? Any things you're going to be at this coming winter? I know you said you're pretty much done with
the traditional show season. Yeah, for sure. But we'll be at Winter Fishing Weekend in Pierre. So we plan on having some information there. We'll have suits to try on. I'll be fishing that again. That was fun. I think one of the last times I saw you, Curt, was up at the Good Old Boys tournament, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun. That's a neat concept. I love that tournament.
They asked me to fish in it, but I do not play whack fuck.
Neither did Craig Euler, but he was my golf partner.
So, I would have been in for poker. I had other things going on, and frankly, I needed a weekend not to. I just rather come over there and BS with you guys and hang out. And so I decided I wasn't going to fish it, mainly because of the golf, and I wanted a weekend to do nothing, basically. So that's what I did. But a great, cool tournament that he put together. You know, you fish, poker tournament, you golf, and you fish, and you have point systems that come together, and pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it turned out that if we were just mediocre at most things, we ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah, you guys did pretty well in that tournament for not knowing how to golf.
Well, I know how to golf. I'm just I'm not a pro or anything, but we managed to do okay. And then Craig did decent in the poker tournament, and I basically anteed myself to death through the whole tournament and ended up in the middle of the field. And I think our fish weight got us second. So yeah, we did good in the fishing.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like I said, it was a fun little tournament, just kind of you buddies only type of deal, but very cool, different concept.
Yeah, I think that it has some merit, and maybe it'll keep going.
Chad says,
Double bogeys.
Hey, they have a handicap system. It's all good.
yeah.
I've golfed with Chad before. He shouldn't talk about double bogeys. Oh man!
The truth comes out.
Well, here comes the truth. Euler carried you in golfing.
He carried my bag in golfing, maybe. I had to borrow golf balls. He started hitting them out of bounds too much.
Oh no, Tom, you're out. Later, see ya. I think I lost my touche. I lost my Facebook at about 12 minutes, and I thought everything was fine, and went back and looked, and it said I was live. So at least everybody picked it up and followed along on the Fishing Crew page, and then on the YouTube pages too. So that's great. We had a ton of comments tonight, and that's awesome. And
before we go, I got to grab something here. Hold on.
Oh. I wonder what he's got, Dan.
Oh, man. What is it?
I don't know. He just came back from duck hunting. I can't imagine he's got a duck with
he's
him.
in Texas. He might have some.
Look here. There we go.
There we go. Right? So there's your code for 20% off all Cold Snap performance gear on the website. TFC20 for the Fishing Crew. Use that code. There's a 20% off coupon.
Yeah,
There you go.
I thought about that. We were talking about the suits, and I'm like, oh, I should have had that sitting behind me the whole time.
Yeah, you know what?
The other thing I think I didn't point out was on the suits, there's hand warmer pockets in the coat.
Oh, sure.
The bibs.
Different things like right up here, the pockets.
Right.
Yep. I have that in some of my hunting gear, and I'm like, as soon as I put that jacket on, I'm like, oh, he did it. Yeah.
Well, it's cues from the waterfowl industry.
Yep.
They have those high pockets to keep your hands warm because it's above the line on the chest waiter.
Yep.
But in ice fishing, it makes perfect sense too, because if you're sitting down on your knees and you're trying to keep your hands warm, it makes sense to have it here. A lot better posture, and they're all fleece lined and nice warm stuff. There's Primaloft that covers that pocket too.
That's a great idea.
I mean, you got anything new in the works or anything? It's just kind of where you're at right now. Nothing you really want to share.
Yeah, no, there's several things that are new this season that we released, maybe a couple weeks ago. One is there's a clip-on light now that we have for that T2 toothpick. So if you go out to check your tip-ups in the dark and you have to take out a hook, it's got a clip-on light to it that's very small, takes up hardly any space. And you can use that to take out hooks in the dark. You'll be able to see right in the fish's mouth, poke that jig loose or twist it loose and take it right out. A neat thing with that T2 hook remover, you can come in through the side, open the side of the gill and come in that way and take a a gullet hook fish and just twist the hook clean out and it comes out clean as a whistle, you'll have a nice, easy live release where a lot of times I see guys bite the line off and put the fish back with the hook in the gullet. But you can completely take out all those easy without harming the fish one bit. So we have a T2 light that's new. For your ATV or UTV, we have a new auger rack that you can attach. It's $144. It's made in the United States. It's aluminum with corner braces that are all steel. It's all powder coated. Super nice. So that's new. What else are you thinking? What else am I missing? We've got Leech Lake fillet knives. You guys ever heard of Leech Lake fillet knives?
No.
They're, if you Google them, they're usually like $150. They sell them at Reed's. They've got a very flexible blade. I literally can just bend it. You know, it's flexible but still stiff enough to be able to take up bones. It's got the back is sharpened on it as well, and there's a little hook on the end where you cut through the scales with the back, and then you come through the other way with the normal part of the blade. It keeps the blade sharper for a lot longer. But typically those things are like $150 a throw on Reed's. It's a super nice knife. It's got a cool handle. I found the supplier and some overstocks, and we have them on our website for I believe $100.
Really?
Yes, they're super nice quality stuff. The original one that I had, Tyler, makes a good point. The reflex rod's new too. I had one of the original ones from Reed's. And I cleaned fish in a canoe paddle in Canada on a rock, for years, 2 or 3 years before I ever sharpened it. So they hold an edge like no other. In Minnesota, the hook set devices, the jawjacker rods, I don't know if you guys seen those or heard of those.
Yep.
But that's new. You can have jawjacker rod or hook setting devices legal now in Minnesota. So we designed a rod, and you can use it anywhere, of course, in South Dakota. But we designed a specialized rod called the Reflex that has a special loop on the end, a metal loop that loop aligned. So when the rod is loaded up, you don't have to use your eyelet to hold the trigger, and
great idea.
Go through without any restrictions or anything. Reflex. Tyler prototyped it all last winter. So we got the action right, we got the length right, we got the handle length right, because you goes in a holder, so you got to have a longer handle, so you still have room for the reel foot.
Yeah, I love running the jawjackers. I don't run the jawjacker brand. I can't remember which the one aluminum ones I run, but that's the biggest problem is finding a rod that works with them. I love them way more than tip ups. Because you can set them out there and you can actually hear them go off. Poof.
Yeah. And then there's the whole end of the rod, the last, say 3 or 4 inches is bright yellow too. So you'll be able to see it. Yeah. If you got 3 or 4 of them out, you'll see the one that the yellow sticking up. You'll be able to see it too. So that's a cool thing. So we're one of the only ones in the industry making ice rods. There's JT Outdoors makes one too. But it's a different design than ours, whereas only about 2 manufacturers in the whole industry, or not JT, it's Mags, sorry. Mags makes a custom rod for hook setting devices. So there's only 2 of us right now. So if you're looking at it, I would think ours is probably half to 2/3 the price of what Mags's rod sells for. But yeah, so check us out. That reflex rod for your hook setting device, jawjacker, predator tip ups. Yep.
Yeah, and Google Cold Snap Outdoors.
Yeah.
Yep. Go to coldsnapoutdoors.com. Yep.
Well, I mean, like I said, you never know when you pop on your website what you're going to find next.
Right.
Yeah, you mentioned the snow plows. Why do we have snow plows when we're a fishing company? A lot of, the Midwest is where we sell all our gear, and people have to move snow. And one of my best friends owns a company that sells snowplows. So you'd be shocked at how much snowplows we sell. Just tons of them.
Well, and I think I saw you have like 22 pages of things, and that's on my cell phone, right? So it's smaller. So there's a reason there's 22 pages, but there's just a ton of stuff, and you got to go snooping through it all because I honestly. I wanted to have more pictures of stuff. And I'm like, well, where do I stop? I started. So I'll stop with clothing. I'll stop at the gloves, and then maybe we'll talk about other stuff. And I'm glad we hit on all that other stuff, because it's important, right? It partially because you're not in a retail store, and we need to talk about these things so that people know about them. If they don't go to the shows, they don't see them.
The website,
and they go check it out on the website. Yeah, look at that. And so that's a V plow too.
Yep. Yeah. We got a V plow option. There's a hydraulic option, so you can move the blade back and forth from the cab and never have to get out. That's super cool. Yeah. And you can design it all here. And, and just like on the clothing, if you order something, I typically work with each person who orders a plow too, to make sure they get the correct amount.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite stores to go in is Ace Hardware. And because if you need something, they walk you through the process, and you feel like you get the right thing more often than not the very first time, and that's what we try to be as an online retailer. Go the extra step to get people the right product, but also make sure it fits for what they need it for.
That is impressive.
Yeah. So always be checking that website, because every time I seem to pop on it, there's something new, and you can't go wrong. Like I said, with the company that's Midwest based, that cares about its customers. I've had questions about suits. I feel now, after having one and talking to you as much as I have, like I can pretty much answer anything on the suits. And honestly, you hand the suits to the guys and they try it on, they're like, wow. That's the biggest reaction. Like, there's no other rain gear. Like, obviously, a lot of things I was doing in the summertime with them, everybody's like, there's no other rain gear like this. And I'm like, yeah. And now you can, well, I don't ice fish. Who cares? You still boat fish when it's colder than hell.
Yeah. We've all been out in March before in the boat.
Right.
Yep. And even in April, the water temp is like 36 or 42 degrees, and the wind coming off there, it's just chill you right to the bone. So having a warm suit that blocks the wind and keeps you comfortable, that you can cast and move in, that's key. I mean, it gives you extra days doing things you enjoy. One of our taglines is, you only have so many winters, you only have so many summers, you only have so many springs. How many do you have left? Do you want to spend it like you miss out on a half a day of fishing because you started raining and you got wet? And even worse, if you go on a trip to Erie, or you're out of town for 5 days and it ruins a couple days of your trip, how many days are you going to have left to be able to do that? I mean, we say buy once, cry once. You buy the best thing and the best quality, and you'll never be upset that you did that. Because, how often have we went out and said, well, I'll just buy this cheap one because I think it'll be good enough. And then you're super disappointed. Then you have to go buy the good one eventually anyhow. And
you wasted money.
Yeah, we're all to the age now where, we've done the dumb stuff when we were younger, bought the cheap stuff, figuring it was good enough. And we've always been disappointed. With very few exceptions, is the cheaper option and lower quality option ever good enough to get by?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not even with a Snickers bar, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would be like trying to eat a dollar store Snickers bar. It's probably going to have the white stuff on it, like the dog poop that's been outside too long.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep, you don't want that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, Dan, I think we've learned a lot tonight. And one thing, I know we're way out of place with this. I should have said it way earlier, but I don't want to forget to talk about it, is the hood on the rain suit.
Yep. So the nice thing about that is completely waterproof again. So, and it's got like a little visor built in. It's also got 2 shock cords on the side that you can pull on, and it pulls in the side of your head like this. We call it a 70-mile-an-hour hood, so it won't pull off your head as you're flying down the lake, on tournament day, coming out of the chute in the morning. It's also, with the internal liner, it's got it's an insulated hood. And if you don't want the insulation, there's the internal liner coat that you can wear as a separate. That hood will zip off and you can take it off. The other thing that hood on the shell does is you can roll it up and it fits into the collar. So if you don't want the hood flapping around and back, you can roll it up and it fits in neatly into the collar. and it just looks like a normal collared coat. The other two neat things about it is there's, the collar sides on the coat, there's and maybe you've seen it, Curt, but there's a little magnet built into each side on the shoulder that will hold that collar down flat so it doesn't stick up by your face and bug you. So once that jacket is out in the field, you can those magnets will hold those collar tabs down. Sort of like a collar stay in like a dress shirt.
Yeah.
You guys think of everything.
Well, I can't take the credit for all that stuff. Mostly it was Eric, my partner. His design work was just top notch, and he would go with what we, some of the cues that we give him, but a lot of the stuff he would bring to us, and we'd be like, wow, I really like that. Or now that you did this, made us think about this. Can you do this? So we would, go back and forth and collaborate. And that's where I think, we just pulled the whole industry. We took cues from big game hunting outfits. We took cues from waterfall hunting coats, ski jackets, fishing coats, ice fishing bibs, waders, just tons of stuff, and just took the best stuff from each little thing and built this Frankenstein type thing that turned out to just be, a bulletproof system for all seasons.
I always thought that the Snicker candy bar could never get better, but I am thoroughly convinced now that you guys could actually make a Snickers better.
Well, Chad said he's done with Snickers. You want to talk about these vents, breathable vents?
Yeah, you probably notice it if you look now when you go home, but there's laser cut little venting holes on the side when you zip it up over your face.
Yeah,
that lets some of your breath come out the side, so it's less likely to fog up your glasses.
See, I learned something about the suit I didn't know. I know there's zippers in the arms, like in the
there's venting underneath the pits to let air out if you want to vent it. So that's kind of nice. Like I said, there's a bunch of features that I had the suit and I wore it for a year and a half, 2 years, and I found something new, on it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It was just. Eric put it in there, and he maybe told me, and I just didn't realize it. But the big one was that why is there a little piece of Velcro on the top of the hood? Well, that's so when you roll it up and you put it into the collar, it all Velcros down nice and flat.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize it did that until I had the suit for like 2 years.
That's great. Yeah, I honestly, if you've never seen a cold snap suit or products, you've got to stop and take a peek. Now, the show is being done. It's unfortunate, but go take a peek on the website because there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and I'll take people that want to swing by here outside of Sioux Falls. If you're driving through or you're in the area and you want to stop in, I'll take meetings by appointment. Just reach out and you can easily stop by. I've got a full try-on set here to get you sized up and get it perfect fit for you.
Don't let your buddy borrow it. You'll never see it again. Yeah. Yeah, right on. Yeah. Hey, Curt, can I bum your suit from you, buddy?
Yeah. Mine, you were drowned in mine. I'm a little bit.
You would have a little extra room in yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, don't forget. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, I'm going to be the billboard guy.
I love that. Oh, that's funny.
So,
TFC 20 for 20% off.
Thanks for hopping on with us, buddy. You have a great Christmas and a happy New Year. And I'm sure we'll be talking, but if not, we will definitely see you at the winter fishing weekend in Pierre.
We'll be there. We're going to try to do a little more pre-fishing than we did last year. But what a fun tournament that is, huh?
Yeah.
It's probably a good time to hop on that website and order your raffle tickets.
Yeah, get your extra.
Yeah, there you go. Right on. Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you guys as well. And if I don't see you before winter fishing weekend, I'll see you at the weigh-in.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.